A new day has come. Sableassent is taking your business around the world at no cost. We are connecting Black businesses in one global community, transacting with one currency, Sablecoin, creating one economy. Remember, you are not alone. A digital world is here. Register your business today at Sableassent.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sableassent Tech Tour podcast. We have a very special guest here, Mr. Terrence Wyatt. But remember, register your Black-owned businesses and nonprofits at www.sableassent.com at no cost. Mr. Terrence Wyatt, he is, really educated in finances. You are getting a treat here, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're here with us live or seeing it on the latest recording. But I'm going to have him introduce himself because he has so many accomplishments, so many things going on. Welcome, Mr. Terrence Wyatt.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So let's introduce yourself. So who is Terrence Wyatt? And, we know why we have you on the show, but what do you offer to the world?
Right. My name is Terrence Wyatt. So I primarily am in, the financial literacy sector. So I try to educate, especially African Americans, both millennials and other generations, on the importance of financial literacy. Through that, I run a couple of hedge funds for my own benefit, both in the cryptocurrency sector and also traditional finances as well. Completely, on the entrepreneurial side, have a number of other businesses as well. So definitely trying to do my part to help, the global Black diaspora, better understand finances across the world.
Yes, sir. This is awesome. That's awesome. So, Mr. Terrence, with you, I'm going to get right to the point, okay? Into it, explain your definition of generational wealth and why it's important that we have generational wealth.
Absolutely. I think generational wealth, if you try to break it down, it's very simple. It's really the process of passing down assets down to the next generation. And, assets in the most common benefit are things that are of value, from a financial perspective. It could be stock,
yes,
could be, real estate, it could be, a life insurance policy. But giving the chance for the next generation not to start from scratch in terms of a financial perspective. I think, if you look at, how wealth is defined, especially right here in America, a lot of the wealth comes from inheritance and wealth being passed down from one generation to the next. So that has put a lot of, families ahead of the curve. As they're getting started, they don't have to get student loans. They don't have to, have large amounts of debt. They start out from a financially secure place. And, in terms of African Americans, that's something that we've been lacking for a number of reasons, institutionalized racism, being, discriminated against in business. So, pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps has been, what has kept, so many of us, not starting out on a, firm footing and base in terms of the financial world.
Awesome. We value what you do. You made a lot of valid points. I hope our audience is really listening here. So now, do you feel that SAC1 is a good option to help creating generational wealth? If so, just kind of give your point of view of why. Why do you feel like SAC1 will or will not help to create generational wealth in our communities?
Absolutely. I think, SAC1 is very important, in the future of creating generational wealth, especially for the Black diaspora. And because of the technology aspect with tying to cryptocurrency and the blockchain sector, which will, at some point, I believe, allow, African Americans to really connect with the rest of the Black diaspora. So, with 45 million African Americans being here in the United States. And then we have another 1.3 billion over in Africa. We don't really do much business with each other. And there's literally trillions of dollars at stake. And cryptocurrency and blockchain, which SAC1 is, definitely pushing towards, and in that particular sector, us being able to use a currency that circulates the wealth that's at stake, literally trillions of dollars, to allow us to do business with each other in the services and goods sector can really, take a lot of the pressure off of the financial woes that we are having, not just here in America, but across the world as well as Black people overall.
Absolutely, Mr. Wyatt. Now, over the time, you've worked for very large corporations like Coca-Cola, General Motors, and others. Now, what's like a few things that you were able to learn before becoming an entrepreneur from those corporations that you feel like we should know?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things with working with global, Fortune 100 companies, one of the first things that I've learned is, international business and how business is done in different markets across the world. Once you get outside of America, business changes. Of course, we have different currencies, and that's one of the points of Sableassent is to have one common currency, and that's what stops a lot of.
My brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah. So
they call bosses all. I'm kind of a boss, so guys always say "sir" to me. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you definitely a boss and queen and all of that.
But I get it. Okay, keep talking about. Finish your point.
Yeah. So, just the international business aspect, as you have different currencies in different countries, that's what stops a lot of countries from working with each other and the people there.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things, learning from that aspect is how these different businesses, working for Coca-Cola is literally sold in every country in the world except for Cuba and North Korea. So seeing and, being there for 5 years and seeing how they do business, in every single market in the world and have it all come back to corporate here in America, roll up really gives you an aspect of how diverse the world truly is when it comes to business. So seeing how, they go into different markets, set up a marketing plan, set up different hubs, get the local people to buy into what they're doing, and then be able to, profit from that particular region. It gives you a huge perspective on how you can take your own business from an entrepreneurial perspective and then build it out. So, it was very, very valuable lessons. And I've seen the same thing working, with auto manufacturers and other printing companies as well. International business, once you understand that and you're able to travel and see things, it totally changes your mindset and has you think a lot bigger. And I think that's what's extremely important for African-American businesses to think on a global scale and level. We can definitely do business with each other here. But again, there's 1.3 billion Africans, in the continent of Africa, and then around the diaspora, we're getting close to nearly 2 billion. So there's a lot of opportunity outside of America, from an international perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, keep going. I'm listening.
Yeah. So another thing, to speak on is the thing that I learned is in terms of business credit as well.
Business credit, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. One of the biggest things that I saw, when these global companies are going to set up, different hubs in different regions and markets across the world, when they're expanding new factories or setting up new offices, they don't use their own money. They use, banking, different funding sources in terms of debt from banks, different loan sources of that nature. And when you look at a company's balance sheet, and for those that, aren't, too financially, on that aspect of it, literally, when you borrow money from a debt perspective, of course, you pay it back. But a lot of these companies, if you look on their balance sheet, they have lots and lots of debt. So if you take an Amazon or Apple or a Facebook, you'll always see that they're in debt. And from a consumer perspective, we think that's bad. If you have a lot of debt, that's a bad thing to have. But in terms of business, when you have that type of credit, they use a lot of that debt to expand their operations. So when they build new offices and new factories, they're able to scale their business up to actually service, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And, that debt is almost never paid off fully. It's constantly constantly a growing aspect of it. And that's something that we don't really take into account. We always say debt is bad. We don't want credit. We don't want to, have that. But that's how you actually scale a business and be able to, have a factory, have your own factory that you own, have your own business operations.
Own what you got it.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Yep. You have your own employees. You're able to do all of these things all over the world now, and you're not really using your own money. And that's the biggest thing. The debt market is actually a $300 trillion market out there, $300 trillion. And that's, if you take all credit markets, all debt markets out there, it's an absolutely huge part. And if you look at any corporation out there, they're in, if you look on their balance sheet, they have literally tens of billions of dollars of debt out there to expand their operations. And that's how you actually build a business. And that, that's something that, as African-American business and entrepreneurs, one thing that we definitely need to do more of, and doing business with other African-American companies and other African and Black companies across the world. That's how you actually scale up, is through the debt markets.
And so what I'm taking, Mr. Wyatt, from what you're saying is it's okay to use, because that's what the Fortune 100 companies do, is they use others' money to get to the level that they're at. Also, he's saying to expand globally, not just try and be a local business, but to make sure you're global, so those are really big key pointers here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to take a quick break from our sponsors here, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Sableassent. We are a global Black community of businesses, nonprofits, and consumers, exchanging a digital token to empower our community and obliterate poverty. It doesn't matter where you are or what you do, you can transact Sableassent tokens in our global ecosystem and marketplace. In today's global economy, we have moved from a paper society to a digital society. The time is now. Be a part of the new digital world of Sableassent.
All right, we are back. Remember, register your Black-owned business and nonprofit at www.sableassent.com at no cost. We would like to support you. We would like to highlight you here. Make sure you go to P2P, B2B.io to purchase SAC1, your currency for the Black community here. I am your host, Marlena D. Evans. We are talking to Terrence Wyatt. Check out my necklace from Trending MDE and bracelet, www.trendingmde.com. Mr. Wyatt, you're here. We appreciate your time. Now, let our audience know, some of the services you help them with. How can you help some of us with services that may be interested in finances and things that you may be doing right now?
Yeah. So it's two different sides that I actually, help people with. So the consumer side and the business side. So for consumers, one of the biggest points that we kind of touched on earlier is financial literacy. So I offer classes to teach millennials and pretty much everyone, the importance of financial literacy. And in that aspect, how do you actually invest your money and what are some of the opportunities? Some people, are very nervous about investing, and because they're nervous about it, they never try. And that's just how wealth is built on a massive level here in the United States and the world. So I have a course and I teach in conjunction with Dr. Boyce Watkins and his Black Business School.
Dr. Boyce Watkins, shout out to Dr. Boyce Watkins and his team.
Yep.
We love him here.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So I teach there in the Black Business School on different asset classes. How do you invest in the stock market? How do you invest in real estate? All other alternative aspects, mutual funds, ETFs, the gamut. So my class is about a 6-hour class. It breaks down every single asset out there that you have the opportunity that you know and may not know of, hopefully in a 20-minute format, to where you're not, losing attention or losing your time span in.
Right.
Yeah, I try to make it fun. That's the thing. Most people, want to get into it, but then, oh my God, there's so many terms and things that I don't know. So I want to quit. So we try to break it down into digestible information. That's 20 minutes for every asset class. And then if you want to go forward from there, then we have some, private consulting services for the consumers. Now, on the business side, I help businesses, get funding through a number of different sources, through traditional markets, through the debt markets, like I mentioned. So if you need money to build your business, opening new offices, expanding internationally, then I have funding sources on that side. And I also help through more modernized means, things like tokenization, which is, part of the aspect SAC1 is in the blockchain space. So, that is definitely the future that I think, and taking assets, breaking them down into smaller things like real estate, where, multiple people can invest in one piece of real estate currently, but things like tokenization is about to change a lot of that going forward in the future. So being on that cutting edge, especially helping African Americans and, more of the Black diaspora grasp some of that new technology around the world. So I help on the consultancy side on that basis as well, that people can contact me for.
That is incredible. That is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. You definitely want to get in touch with our brother, Terrence Wyatt here. Look at all the things that he can help you with. Finance right now is such a big area that we all should be concerned about if our wheels are turning. As you can see, they'll just shut the world down, right, Mr. Wyatt? At any given cost, it's like they hit the button, we're shut down. So, SAC1 is here for you, Sableassent. Mr. Terrence Wyatt, he's here. He's ready to show you how to invest your money. He, like he was saying, you said a key thing, Mr. Wyatt, that stuck out in my mind. Fear, no fear. Fear is edging God out. No fear. We don't want to have fear, ladies and gentlemen. We want to learn, like you said, if you just need to take your class, he made it fun for you. Just learn some things if you're not comfortable and just hear about what's going on. He's been in business for a while. Now, Mr. Wyatt, give us some keys to your routine that helps you stay focused and accomplished, because you've done a lot. Like, you're being really modest here, but you do a lot. You have a family, you're an entrepreneur, you are a mentor, a coach, you've done so much, you've worked, you still have, ways to bring in different revenues. So give us some ways that you keep focused and accomplished.
Just on the whole pandemic scale, and how people say, a lot of the things that, derive from the complications of COVID-19 is keeping physically fit. So I think that's a very important factor in my life. Oh yes. I mean, when I wake up in the morning, I try to do some type of exercise, and then I'm a constant, gym person. And I think the discipline that comes from physical fitness, because we're all busy, we all have a ton of things to do.
Yes, sir.
Elevate. We're all trying to take care of our family, and that requires discipline as well. So if you find yourself lacking in some of those things, my regimen and discipline on the physical fitness side, definitely keeps me focused throughout the day. And then, when you're proud and you feel good and you're feeling healthy, that just elevates everything else in your life. That's something I started 10 years ago, getting really serious into health and fitness. So that's one of the biggest keys I can say that helps me throughout my entire life, is the discipline it takes to be physically healthy, because the easiest thing in the world is to do nothing at all. So it's easy to sit down and do nothing every day and, eat and drink and snack and everything, but having to take care of yourself, that actually translates over into your business life as well. Because you'll start to say, I'm taking care of myself, taking care of my body. Let me take care of these other things over here as well on a daily basis.
That's awesome. So we have to work out get our blood moving. And you are extremely successful. You have accomplished a lot of goals. So here's someone, ladies and gentlemen, that's telling us to work on our physical body, to work on getting our blood flowing. So we have to make sure we're doing that. I mean, he's like several of the successful elite that's in the world that says that we need to work out and get our bodies moving. So we're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back. We're with Mr. Terrence Wyatt here.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Stablecoin has taken off and we are coming to your community. We are partnering with industries, real estate, agriculture, minerals, energy, and many more. Let's get ahead of the trend. Paper money is a thing of the past. The future of money is digital, decentralized, and moving light speed on a blockchain. Sableassent is created to empower consumers, nonprofits, and business owners in a global Black economy. Now is the time when we buy back our communities. Own your currency today at Sableassent.com.
We are back. I am Marlena D. Evans, your host, and we are here with Mr. Terrence Wyatt. He specializes, he's mentoring in your finances. He's coaching us on generational wealth. We have been getting great information. If you're just tuning in with us, please start from the beginning because you missed a great interview with great ideas, with great ways that we can increase our income, get our businesses started. So we're happy to be here. Please register your Black-owned businesses and nonprofits at www.sableassent.com at no cost. We would like to highlight your business. We would like for you to accept SAC1. Make sure you go purchase SAC1 at p2pb2b.io right now. Click the link. P2P, at .io here. Okay, Mr. Wyatt. Now, I would like to get going with this interview. We're almost done. We're approaching the end. And I want to ask you a few more questions, Mr. Wyatt. Now, how do you feel that Sableassent will help our communities worldwide?
Yeah, so I think, Sableassent and, the SAC one coin are, fundamental, as a starting block towards the future. When you look at, the impact, for those that don't know, blockchain and cryptocurrency in itself are, in my opinion, one of the most revolutionary technologies that are upcoming and will, impact the next few decades. So in terms of, having African Americans and the global diaspora connected with each other, I think that is truly the next iteration when it comes to the next technological revolution. If you go back, 20, 25 years ago at the dawn of the internet, that actually, spawned the sharing of information between everyone. So now we've had, 30 years of now being able to have information shared across the world with each other. And now the next aspect for the blockchain aspect part of the internet is to be able to do business with each other all across the world. And so us having a coin, our own coin, to be able to circulate the business across the world with each other, I think is fundamental and key. If you look at other cultures, such as, the Asian cultures, such as Chinese and Japanese, if you go back 30, 40 years, they took over the manufacturing sector. If you look at the Indian culture, they took over the IT sector that has transformed, rural countries and, non-technological cultures and countries into global phenoms now. And the same thing can happen with Africa and African Americans, that could be the lift up. And having our own piece of that technology, which I think Sableassent and SAC One Coin can be a part of, is absolutely fundamental. There's not a lot of, Black players in this particular space at the moment. So, I think it's, being one of the few that is actually focused on this common goal is absolutely huge. And, the more people and the more businesses that get registered and understand, the importance of cryptocurrency and blockchain and the importance of doing business with each other and circulating the wealth among other Black people is what elevate us in the upcoming decades to take us from a place of, where the news is always negative and why some of our businesses are being discriminated against and why there's a huge wealth gap. All of that can be transformed if we circulate our wealth within our own community. In order to do that, we need to get out of traditional finance systems that are discriminating against us and be able to utilize our own currency and coins and technology with each other. And that can elevate ourselves, just like we've seen across the world that we just spoke about.
Yes, sir. You gave a wonderful explanation. And as you know, like you were saying, in the foreign countries, especially China, in China, ladies and gentlemen, all you need is a phone to go purchase something. We mentioned it before here on this show. So we are innovative here. We are not leaving anybody behind. We want us to all be on point here. Like you said, we're circulating our dollars amongst each other. We don't need it to really leave our community at this time, especially what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. The number one thing we need to do right now is to control our currency, is to support each other. We have Black businesses, Black nonprofits. We have everybody, and we're here. Every dollar that we earn needs to be circulated amongst each other. We can use the example, like you said, like the Jews, like the people in China and things like that. So that's what we have created here for those of you who do not know. And you just made such a good point, Mr. Wyatt, such a good point. Now, being you and your wife, beautiful wife at that, are into fitness, as you said, like a part of your very important routine is doing fitness. You all have a fitness business together that you're building and growing. Give us a few steps of having work-life balance with the wife, with, if you have children at home and things like that. How can you have accomplished so much that you and the wife are still good? Let some of the brothers know that's I just gotta stay single and things like that. How are you keeping the work-life balance? I've had some of my friends or family tell me, women either have their back and they're happy, or they don't want a woman seriously in their lives. So just give us some work-life balance things that you and your lovely wife have that keeps you going.
Yeah. One of the most important things, when we decided a few years ago to start building together, our life and planning out things for the future, one of the things we said was most important is that we kind of work together on some of the same things. So she has her sides of the business and I have my sides, but I help her and she helps me with our businesses. So, it's not like I go off for 12 hours and don't see her and we don't do things and I'm completely busy. All of our businesses and all of our interactions are intertwined with each other. So, being able to work with your significant other and build things that matter in your life, that has been one of the biggest things that, has kept a lot of our passion and a lot of our, fun in our marriage, because we're building the same things together. So it's not just building our life together, we're also building our businesses together. On another side of it is, definitely you got to take some time off and, just be able to enjoy each other. We work extremely, extremely hard, sometimes 16, 18-hour days. And then it's time to actually unplug. You got to be willing to do that. No phone, no computer, go enjoy life.
There you go.
World out
electronics out of there. I love it. Keep talking.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things that we always do, at least once or twice a week, is to totally unplug and disconnect, with everything that's going on in the world. If all you do is read social media and news and pay attention to business, if you focus on the negative, it can almost drive you crazy at some point. So at some point, you just need to enjoy each other, enjoy your family, completely disconnect from the world. Since especially during this pandemic, we've been almost forecast to being totally all online, almost 24 hours a day.
Exactly.
So, that's one of the biggest things is still to disconnect from this internet.
Disconnect. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So, those are the things that we try to do with each other. And, this will be, we actually, I just got married, a little bit over a year ago. So this whole year.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank
Newlyweds. And you guys were together how long before you tied the knot?
We were together 2 years before we tied the knot.
Okay, that's good. I'm so happy. All right, yes, newlyweds here, and they're doing so well. You already starting a business. You have your business going on. I'm sure she has other things going on, and you have what you do together, and then you still have your work-life balance. That is beautiful, my brother. I appreciate it. Now, let's speak about you graduating college. So proud of you for that. Now, do you feel that college has helped you become successful? We have how you have this thing out there that's saying you don't need to go to college. It's a lot of gurus out there that's like, oh, it's like a JIP. Like, do you think you need to go to college? Did you gain a lot of your skills, or do you feel like you can bypass that to be successful?
Yeah. I think it touches on a lot of what we talked about earlier in terms of generational wealth. When you come from a background and you're starting from zero, and usually when you don't have finances, you don't have financial literacy, and you're probably haven't been in, a stable environment just because of that lack of finances and a lack of wealth. So college in itself puts you in a different type of environment. So beyond just the educational aspect, one of the biggest things when I decided to go to college, coming from the inner city, coming from humble beginnings, being put in a college atmosphere around, literally tens of thousands of other people trying to do inspirational things with their lives, it changes your mindset to what you currently are used to, and it lets you elevate your level of thinking towards doing something. If you have generational wealth and you don't have to go into debt and you've been around other successful people in businesses and things of that nature, then yes, I believe you can, skip the college route, especially in this age where information is out there and is discernible and college courses are free online. But I think it's absolutely fundamental from somebody starting from almost next to nothing to be put in the right proper mind state. And you can't expect somebody to change their mind state unless they are, connected to somebody that is already trying to elevate themselves. So I think that was one of the biggest things that I've learned from college was just simply changing the way I think.
Yeah.
When I went to college and studying abroad, that was the first time I ever left the country. Coming from the inner city of Memphis, Tennessee, most people never leave their neighborhood, let alone travel outside.
Yes, Beale Street.
Yeah, oh, yes, Beale Street, food, all of that. So I can understand why some people don't want to leave, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay. Keep going. You was preaching to the choir here.
Absolutely. So, it just changed my entire mindset for the first time traveling outside the country, talking to different cultures, talking to different people that I never would have talked to before in my life. And then again, everybody there, most people in college are trying to do something better with their lives. So you constantly are, being pushed and thinking different than you would have from the neighborhoods or humble beginnings that you may be from. So that definitely changed my mind. Now, again, if you have, mentors in your life and you have other successful business people, absolutely, you shouldn't spend $100,000 going into debt, in college and things aspects. So I think it's different for every single person. I don't think, you can say all Black people shouldn't go to college now.
Right.
It's going to depend on your certain particular situations based on what I just said.
You made a perfect point to it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you were listening. Everybody doesn't have to go to college, but some of us should, to just get that correct background information so that we're educated when we're out there in the working field, when we're trying to build a business. It's great to go to college to learn. If you already have the backing, if you already have the experience, you may not have to, but it's not for everybody to not go, and it's not for everybody to go. A wonderful point, sir. So this was a wonderful interview, and I just appreciate your time. Let us know how we can get in contact with you if we want financial advice or coaching or mentoring and things like that. How can we contact you, sir?
Yes, so you can definitely send me an email, terrence.wide at gmail.com. I'm also on my courses on Udemy. It's called Noble Financial Investing for Financial Freedom. You can contact me as a professor on there. I'm also on Black Business School with Dr. Boyce Watkins. So if you search for Terrence Wide on the Black Business School, you can contact me there. So multiple ways, and then social media as well. You can contact me there. So feel free to reach out, both businesses and consumers, as well.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, reach out to our brother here. He is here to help you all. He already has a course that you can take. He already let you know. He tried to make it as enjoyable as possible, so it's good to make sure we're supporting. He's here. Thank you all for tuning into the Sableassent Tech Tour podcast. I'm your host, Marlena D. Evans. We're here next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern time again. And we thank you all for coming. www.sableassent.com. Register right now. When you get off of this right now, your Black-owned business and nonprofit at no cost. It's important to accept the SAC-1. We will educate you on how to do that when it's time, so don't you worry. Just put your business there on the platform. You will be able to keep updates on us. I am wearing Trending MDE, my line, www.trendingmde.com, and we'll see you later. Thank you so much, Mr. Terrence. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So here are our issues. I shouldn't say problem. I like the word issues because my mom and dad always said issues can be solved with either time or money. Problems cannot be solved with time or money. Problems are things like, I got cancer, right? I need to get my leg chopped off. But issues are things that can be solved with time or money. So these are issues, unfortunately, that have plagued our community for hundreds of years. Number one, we have the highest number of unbanked people. Basically means, now we're not talking about the United States only. Everything that we talk about on this call today affects a population of 1.4 to 1.5 billion Blacks worldwide, okay? Yes, the majority of us are in America, but we have people on this line now from Haiti. I'm already looking, Haiti, Nigeria, Ghana, I see Jamaica here, I see Manchester, I see UK, I see many countries of people on this phone right now. So what you're about to see, guys, is representing 1.5 billion people. Okay. Secondly, we have the lowest level of capitalization. That means that we have the lowest level of dollars going actually into our businesses. Okay. The statistic is less than 0.5% of any VC, seed funding, venture capital, banking, any dollars go into any women-owned or Black-owned businesses. Okay, the money's there; they're just not giving it to us. Okay, and lastly, the next thing is circulation. Okay, there's probably some Black Wall Street members on the call here today, so you understand the currency circulation model, right? 6 hours is the number that the Black community states that the dollars circulate through our community, right? And then lastly, this one is very dear to my heart. It is the limitations on the opportunities for us to connect globally in finance and business relations. Okay, they are restricting us at a higher level from connecting with each other. Okay, and this system that you're about to see solves all these issues. Okay.